Welcome to the Overcome Pornography for Good podcast, where we take a research-based, trauma-informed, and results-focused approach to quitting porn. This approach has been revolutionary and changed thousands and thousands of lives. I'm your host, Sarah Brewer. Hi, everyone. Welcome to Overcome Pornography for Good. We are currently on a season break and regular podcasting will resume January 1st, but we are still bringing you brand new content every single week by sharing an Ask a Coach question and answer from me or from one of the other coaches in Overcome Pornography for Good. Ask a Coach is a feature in the program, in our program, Overcome Pornography for Good, where you can come and you could submit questions or coaching and get a personalized response from a coach on our team. This is something that when you join, you get lifetime access to, and you could submit as many questions as you would like. You could submit 10 a day, 20 a day. You can come back down the road in 3 years and submit a question. You'll always get answers. You'll always get help and support via our portal through the Ask a Coach function in the program. So you can submit questions. If you're struggling, you can ask for help. You can submit learn and move ons or other worksheets. And so what we're doing right now is we are picking and choosing a few of these to answer anonymously, of course, here in the podcast until we pick back up with regular programming on January 1st. And I think you're going to love it. It's going to be so helpful and so good. And you get to hear from all the other coaches. So before we hop in, I do want to talk about a brand new free resource that I have for you all that's perfect to announce during this podcast break. It is called the Podcast Roadmap. What this is it's a roadmap of all of the key podcast episodes, right? With around 150 episodes, that can feel really overwhelming if you're new to the podcast. So what we did is we created a roadmap. Here's 12 of the most important episodes to listen to. You can listen to them in order or not, but we have those listed out for you and linked for you. And you can sign up for that and get that in your inbox for free at sarahbrewer.com/podcast roadmap. No spaces, no dashes, podcast roadmap. I really hope that you guys will go and take advantage of this, even if you've been a long time listener and you're using this podcast break to maybe catch up on episodes. Go and download the podcast roadmap to re-listen to those most important episodes. We also have our free masterclass that's always available if you want just the quick and easy version of how do I quit porn. That's sarahbrewer.com/masterclass, just an hour long. It'll walk you through the process, keeps it short and simple. And then, of course, we always have our program open, so you can come and join and work with us. You can start getting answers to your Ask a Coach questions. You can come and get coaching. Remember, it's a lifetime access, so it's based around, we've got the modules and all of the work for you to do in the program, the milestones to complete, and then you have lifetime access to coaching calls. We have multiple coaching calls every single week. We have specialized marriage calls, relationship calls, support calls. We have regular coaching calls, which are the ones that I do. We have calls on each individual milestone. Anyways, there's so much in there. I won't go into all of those details here, but you can see all the details of the program, sarahbrewer.com/work with me. All right, you guys, enjoy these Ask a Coach Q&As. Hey everyone, it's Sarah. Today I am answering our Ask a Coach for the week. So today's question is, last week I've had slip-ups on days where I've done everything right. I spent time in the morning doing an Overcome Pornography for Good class and felt very moved and encouraged by it. That same day, I did a coaching call and I had a very productive rest of the day. I checked all of my evening boxes, and then I had a slip up at the end of the day. How do you process the shame that comes after you feel like you've checked all the boxes and still fail in the evening? I find that's where the shame is the hardest to process for me. The next day, I end up feeling pretty defeated. Thanks. Okay, so at first glance, I think it's really important that we redefine and kind of change how we're tracking our success. You can be making a lot of progress and have a slip up at night. Just because we had that slip up at night doesn't mean that you're not progressing. And here's what I mean by that. A lot of times we want to count progress as number of days without porn. But what we're learning here and what you're learning in the podcast and the program is that you're learning that success is really built off of all of these other foundational skills that are going to lead to not viewing porn. So, right? if we have a weed and we just kind of pluck it off at the top, the weed's going to continue to grow back. But if we pluck it up by the root, then it doesn't continue to grow back. And, just looking at just the porn use is just like plucking it off at the top. Instead, we want to learn all the skills, the emotional management, the emotional resiliency, the mindfulness skills, the identity skills, the commitment skills, the inner child work, the inner healing, the buffering stuff that you've heard, you're all doing work on. So with that in mind, I want you to think about how you were successful that day. What did you do that is creating and building up these roots that are going to allow you to be very successful? Sounds like you did a class in the morning from the program. You worked through milestone work, and then you even came to a coaching call. Let's not discount all of the work that you're doing to learn the skills, even if it isn't manifesting right away. Okay. So you might have started working on like the buffering milestone and learning how to feel and process emotions. And that's something you have to practice a little bit, and you might not have gotten it right away. And truly, y'all know this. You can go days without porn, weeks without porn, and that doesn't mean that you are successfully quitting porn, because days without porn does not equal success. Lots of you have had those experiences where you go right back to it. We're not doing that anymore. We are quitting and getting it at its root. And that's going to take a little bit more time, and it's going to take a little bit more skills. And so, another plant example, you see the plants, when they start to grow, their roots are what is growing first, and you can't really even see it. It's like growing under the surface. And then the little sproutling, if that's what it's called, the little sproutling pops up. So that's how we want to think about success here, is make sure that you're doing the milestone work. And I have it laid out so easily for you in the program where, checkbox, do this, practice this, do this worksheet, watch this video, do all these things. If you're doing those things, you are making success. And let's just put the porn use on hold. We're going to practice it when we're having urges. We're going to practice all these things, but we're not going to make it mean, if we slipped up that night, we're not going to make it mean that, I'm not making progress, because that's just not true. We need to change how we track success. We just got to keep going. Sounds like you're doing a great job. If I was on the call with this person, face to face, I would say, sounds like you're doing a great job. Let's double check, see if you have any questions about what you've been doing, what you've been working on so far, and let's keep going. Let's just kind of see how it goes. And if you see that you continue to have these slip ups, and it's like an every single night thing after a long period of time when you feel like you understand the concepts, then we can maybe look a little bit more and see what's going on. But I don't know if there's anything wrong here. I think we just got to keep going and keep practicing the things. Okay. Second note, the shame that comes up. One of the most powerful things with shame is to address it with inner child work. And geez, I need to do a whole podcast episode on this. And, for those of you who are in the program, I will be having an actual class in the program on this, on how to do this inner child work. It's going to be a brand new big fun thing that we do in there by the end of the year. But how you can start this is when you're feeling the shame, you can just ask and just play with the question, does this have an age? When did I first start feeling this? When did I first start feeling this sexual shame around pornography? For many people, right, it's when you're 14, 13, 11, younger. Maybe not for you, but for a lot of people, that's what they find. If this had an age, what age would it be? And then you journal, what did my little self there? What did my inner child feel? What were they told about this? Why is there so much shame around it for them? And then to really start to heal the shame, it can be really, really powerful just to love and love and love on that inner child. So when that shame is really, really heavy, it's that, little 11-year-old popping up who's wounded and hurt and feels scared and feels horrible. How can we just envelop him in this big hug? I know you're scared. I know you think you just messed everything up. And we're okay. And nothing's wrong. And I've got you. And look, we've been okay. I'm sorry that you're so afraid about this. I'm sorry that, the conditioning you've received around this has been so painful. We're okay now. We're on the right track now. I found this podcast now. We're going to be just fine. I'm going to take care of you. Don't worry. I love you. Right? And just love, 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 love on that inner child. Okay. Those are my thoughts for you on this question. Thank you for being here, and we'll talk to you guys next week. Bye-bye. I want to invite you to come and listen to my free class, How to Overcome Pornography for Good Without Using Willpower. We talk about how to stop giving into urges without pure willpower or relying on phone filters so that you can actually stop wanting pornography. We talk about how to stop giving up after a few weeks or months. And spoiler alert, the answer isn't have more willpower. And then lastly, we talk about how to make a life without porn easily sustainable and permanent. If you're trying to quit porn, this class is a game changer. So you can go and sign up at sarahbrewer.com/masterclass, and it is totally free.